You're starting to get really heavily featured on TV. And like I said, on our SummerSlam episode, which we're going to do later this year, you're going to play a really big part in the main event storyline. And all that makes me wonder, when Vince brought you in, it was primarily for color commentary, and your only duty was to go to wherever, Titan Towers or the studio, and do your voiceover work, and that was it. And now slowly Vince is starting to say, like, well, Ted, I need you to come on TV, and yeah, can you make this town? Now all of a sudden, instead of going to one studio, you're going to multiple cities in order to film episodes. Did it bug you at all, or were you kind of all for it?
Well, no, I mean, again, if I'm going to a city, to do TV or something like that, with that, okay, I get that. The thing that I did not want to do, that I was, in my opinion, through with, was the day-to-day, the every day on the road,
Yeah.
And when that finally happened, that happened when Sid came along, and basically, Vince's words to me were, I'm going to put you with this guy because I want you to help him keep both his oars in the water. so I kind of like, okay, like a babysitter.
Here's what's really interesting about, and I never really put these pieces together before, but what's really interesting about you getting paired with Sid and you getting essentially the responsibility of being put with Sid is that, so the reason that there were reservations surrounding Sid is because I think it was 1994, so a year prior, he had an altercation with Arn Anderson overseas. Yeah. And Arn Anderson is one of your proteges, a guy that credits you with helping him along in his career.
Yeah.
Sid had this altercation, and not only did it come to blows, but apparently a scissor was involved, and there was some stabbing that went on between these two guys in this altercation. And now this guy who attacked one of your good friends and proteges is now under your watch. So it's kind of a really weird, interesting position for you to be in. Apparently, the reason he was called Psycho Sid was that whenever Jim Cornette was asked about the possibility of bringing Sid in, he said, "Did you hear what he did to Arn Anderson? The guy's a psycho. We can't bring him in." So then he became Psycho Sid when he did come in. But yeah, I don't know. I never put those pieces together. Kind of a weird place for you to be in, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. And again, it was for me, it was strictly business. Because I had heard all of those things. And I mean, again, I knew how to separate business from my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is where Vince wants me right now with this guy, and I'll do whatever I can do because it's my job, but I don't have to. It's like I didn't like everybody I ever got in the ring with wrestle. Right. We weren't like bosom buddies.
But you did your job.
Exactly. And with Sid, that's what I did, was my job. And, I never had any problems with him. I don't know. And I don't know. And again, I can't remember now. I know Arn and I eventually, talked about it. And I told Arn the same thing. I said, well, and I don't know what about whatever you guys fought about, but, I didn't ever have any trouble with him. He didn't. But Vince seemed to think that, he needed somebody to babysit him. I don't know.
And, it's, you treat people the way that they treat you, at least in my opinion. And if Sid was good to you, then you're good to Sid. And also, you weren't there for the incident. You don't know what happened or what was said between Arn and Sid. So it's, man, there's no excusing taking a fight to that level. Normally you just throw some hands and that's the end of it. But we don't know all the circumstances. So good for you for not holding it against Sid and actually trying to help him on the road.
Yeah.
Well, Ted, look, you don't have to give me any figures, but you're pulling double duty now. Instead of just doing this voiceover commentary that you were originally brought in to do, you're doing some managing, albeit you're not on the road, dealing with the day-to-day house show loop. But, you are going from, if I remember right, Ted, when you would do commentary, the voiceover commentary on matches, you would just go to Connecticut, right? And do your voiceover work.
Yeah, they would do the TVs and I would fly up into LaGuardia and go to Stanford and go in the studio and do the voiceover.
Right. And so now they're saying like, "Hey, by the way, you're doing a great job on your commentary. We're glad to have you as part of that team. But we need you to do some stuff on TV with Nikolai. Oh, and we're gonna bring in Brian Lee as the fake Undertaker soon. Gonna need you to manage him." So all of a sudden, the point I'm driving toward is the original agreement is not shaping up the way that you were told it was going to. And so I'm just wondering,
Well,
do
I
you make
mean,
more money?
oh yeah,
I would hope so.
oh yeah. Again, but I mean, like, did I under and did I I did introduce the Undertaker.
Yeah, and that is part of this angle is where you're saying like, he started out working for me, and now he's going to come work for me again, and then it's the bait and switch because all of a sudden you've got a fake Undertaker.
Yeah, yeah,
A fun angle, and I cannot wait to talk about it.
yeah.
Yeah, Underfaker. We'll be talking about that here coming up soon.